Hi everybody, Martin from Salvo Migration here, and in this video I wanted to explain and go over the aspects of your relationship that the Department of Home Affairs will assess when assessing you against the criteria for the approval of a partner visa, an Australian partner visa. Now, as you may know, there are two kinds of partner visas that you can apply for, and that is either if you are onshore, you can apply for the 820-801, or if you are offshore, you can apply for the 309/100. There is also a third option, which is the prospective marriage visa, the subclass 300. However, the purpose of this video is not necessarily to touch on that visa. What we're going to focus on in this video is the four aspects that apply to these two visa types and how they apply equally to whether or not you're applying under the grounds of marriage or whether you're applying under the grounds of de facto. So just to clarify, you can apply for either of these visas whether you are married or just in a de facto relationship. The main difference between the two is that if you are not married and you are applying under the grounds of a de facto relationship, you must also satisfy what is called the 12-month rule. There are, however, ways, let's say, around this requirement, but the purpose of this video is not necessarily to dive into this requirement specifically. What I'm going to focus on in this video is mainly the four aspects and provide you examples of the types of documents and evidence that the department will want to see under each category or under each aspect. So beginning with financial, really what the department are looking for is that you and your partner pool your finances. Now, the most common way that partners tend to pool their finances is that they open up a joint bank account. Joint account, okay? However, just having a joint bank account is not in itself evidence that you are pooling your finances. One thing that the department hate is couples that open a joint bank account a month or 2 months prior to applying for the partner visa with very little transactional history. It's really, really important that, first of all, that you and your partner open up a joint bank account sooner rather than later and in advance as possible prior to you applying for the partner visa. But in addition to this, it's really important that you use the joint bank account for your joint expenses, for the expenses of your relationship, and you do so for a sufficient period of time prior to applying. Now, the type of structure that we like to see, and in terms of the advice that we provide our clients that we assist with the preparation of partner visas, is we understand that each partner is likely to have their own individual bank account. Okay, let's say you have an individual bank account. You might each have your own. Okay, and each of you are owning your own income, assuming that you're both working. What we like to see is that both couples are contributing a percentage or a portion of their income into the joint bank account. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a 50-50 split with regards to how much you are depositing into the joint account. That's really between you and your partner. That's a matter of what suits your relationship, what suits your financial situation. But it's just important that there's a bit of dual contribution towards the account. And then what we want to see is that your joint account is used for your joint expenditure. And specifically, the key things that we want to see in your joint account are payment of, let's say, rent, if you are cohabitating and if you have a joint lease, or even if you don't have a joint lease and let's say you're living with someone's parent or friends, or perhaps one partner owns the property. It's really important that the joint account shows that the payments of the rent or let's say the mortgage repayments do come out of the joint account. That really goes a long way to showing that that you are living like a married couple in the sense that you've pooled your finances for the expenses of your of where you are living. We also like to see things like your utility bills, your groceries, any holidays that you may go on as a couple, and really any savings that you're trying to accrue together. And you can have other sub accounts that help you with the payment of these expenses, and let's say maybe even sub savings accounts for perhaps planning of a wedding or purchasing future property together, or whatever it is that you're saving for. The point is that you can have more than one joint account. You're not limited to one. The main piece of advice that I'm trying to put forward here, though, is that it's more than just having a joint account on paper. It's about showing that you're both contributing to that account with your individual income, and that then you are using that joint account for your joint expenses, and that you show transactional history, money in, money out, money in, money out, of the joint account prior to applying for the partner visa. So really, really important with regards to your financial. With regards to the social aspects of your relationship, this is in essence showing that that you portray yourselves as a couple to your friends and family, to those closest to you. Now, traditionally we would be able to evidence this by providing photos, so photographs of a couple together, surrounded by friends and family in various locations at different times. We would collect anywhere from 20 to 30 color photographs, trying to show the couple in various locations and times. But thankfully technology has moved on since those days, and what we like to actually rely on is social media. Social media is a very powerful tool, and it has built in some very strong social proof when it comes to evidencing a relationship. So for example, most of us have Facebook these days, and when you have your Facebook profile, tip number one is make sure that you have in a relationship as your status. That may seem trivial, but we have seen case officers pick at public profiles that haven't set their status as in a relationship. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for and just to be aware of. The other is that with social media, with Facebook, as a couple, you are naturally inclined to post photos and post status updates. And the great thing about Facebook is that your friends and family are the ones that are looking at your timelines. And chances are, if you post a photo of you guys together, your mom, your dad may comment, may like, may share, and your friends and family may comment and like and share. And what we ask our clients to do is to provide us extracts of their timelines. There really isn't a limitation in terms of how far back we'll go. It depends on the length of the relationship. It really depends on the specific facts of the relationship. But the point is that social media timelines are a very, very good piece of social proof to show that on a social scale, that you are portraying yourselves to be in a relationship, and that your friends and family are aware of the relationship. In terms of additional evidence that you can provide, there are supporting statements that your friends and family can provide in addition to these two suggestions. But I suppose a bit of a modern tip, a bit of a 2018, 19 onwards suggestion with regards to social is really trying to leverage the power of social media and your profiles and the evidence of your friends and family being aware of your relationship in the social aspect. It would really go a long way to showing how strong you guys portray yourselves to be in a couple in the social sense. Next, we have, let's say, the commitment to one another, the commitment that you have as a couple, the commitment to your relationship. Now, there are a few ways that a couple can demonstrate their commitment to one another, and it's really important to understand here that whether you're applying under the grounds of marriage or de facto, it's about differentiating yourselves from just being boyfriend girlfriend, or girlfriend or boyfriend. We're trying to show that you have moved beyond this phase of your relationship, and you guys are committed to one another, together, to the exclusion of all others forever. It's a forever assessment, and what the department want to see is large gestures. So some suggestions that we often provide clients, and look, some of the things that I'll provide here can go increase in extremity in terms of what you may think is a bit extreme or over the top. However, what I would say is that the more that you can provide on paper, the stronger your relationship will be on paper. And it's really important to remember that in most cases, when it comes to applying for partner visas, it's about demonstrating your relationship. It's about evidencing your relationship on paper. The Department of Immigration in most cases do not necessarily ask you and your partner to come in for an interview. They don't speak to you over the phone. It's very hard to put forward or put across emotive arguments verbally. So we have to rely on paper documentation. So the more that you do on paper, the more things that you and your partner have together on paper, the stronger your relationship will be. With regards to commitment, a couple of suggestions. With those that are currently inside Australia, most of you will have superannuation policies. It's generally a very quick and easy thing to do to change each other to be the beneficiary of your superannuation policy. Now, what that means is that if something were to happen to you, then your partner would be legally entitled to your super. So again, it's about doing things that girlfriends, and boyfriends would not necessarily do because you're trying to show that you've moved beyond that phase of your relationship and you are de facto or you are married. So keep in mind that just having a marriage certificate does not necessarily prove that you are in a married relationship. It shows that you are legally married, but it doesn't show that the aspects of your relationship show that you are in a married relationship. So in actual fact, it's when you're evidencing a partner visa or evidencing the relationship, it really is the aspects that the department look at. They don't really look at your marriage certificate. Anyone can get a marriage certificate. It's the documents you provide in addition to the marriage certificate that really set you apart and will really give you the highest possible chance of success. So that's one suggestion, is changing each other's beneficiary on your superannuation policies to have each other as your beneficiary. Another suggestion is that these days it's very easy to get a last will and testament created online. There's some online services. Last time I looked, you can get a couple for $50 or thereabouts. And again, very similar to changing each other's beneficiaries on your super. The last will and testament is basically a document where you are bequeathing to your partner the assets that you will want to provide them if anything were to happen to you. What I will say here is, with regards to these two suggestions, just keep in mind that we are speaking specifically and purely from an immigration law or a visa perspective. With regards to how this implicates or the implications with regards to family law, that is something that you should discuss with a family law specialist. The advice that we can provide you and the tips that we can give you come from our perspective of trying to maximize the likelihood of the approval of your visa and how to best evidence the commitment to one another. So these are two suggestions that we can provide you, not necessarily suitable for everybody. And these are obviously things that you will need to discuss with your partner, but just a couple of little tips that I can give you. Also, in terms of your commitment, this is perhaps where your marriage comes in. A married couple has shown a larger commitment to one another than, let's say, a de facto couple, arguably. Let's say you are engaged. So your engagement shows your commitment to one another. If you have purchased large pieces of property together, or let's say you own a business together, or let's say there's a child of the relationship, all these elements help to show the commitment that you have to each other as a couple. And the last aspect really that the department will look at is your cohabitation, the nature of your household. This is perhaps not the hardest aspect to evidence clearly or to try to strengthen. But what we suggest or what we provide to clients are templates for their relationship statements. So every partner visa application should have with it two relationship statements that are attached. One is for the applicant and the other is for the sponsor. Now, a relationship statement in simple terms is your own love story. It's explaining how you and your partner, met and how your relationship progressed, any key milestones that you have had together along the way, and really importantly, where you see your relationship going in future. How long do you see your relationship lasting for? Do you see children? Are you planning for a family? Are you saving for a property? Is there a wedding upcoming? Those are the kinds of topics and the kinds of phrases that the department want to see, because again, it's differentiating yourselves from this stage of your relationship. Also, and as I was saying before, with regards to your household, really in your relationship statement, this is where it provides you and your partner the opportunity to explain how you share your day-to-day household responsibilities. Who does the cleaning? Who does the cooking? Who does the shopping? Who picks up the kids from school? Etc. etc. It's about showing that you're helping each other with the adult things that everyone needs to do when you're in a committed adult relationship. That's perhaps the best way to evidence it. It's by writing it in your own emotive words and just painting a picture of how it is that you guys live together. And then, of course, it's about evidencing that you are cohabitating, and that can often be things like a joint lease or mortgage documents, depending if you own property, and things of that nature. So, guys, I hope my squiggles haven't been too confusing, and I hope that explains a bit more about the 4 main aspects of a relationship that the department will assess. I hope this helps. Please do feel free to get in touch if you have any questions, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.